you have to get the Chapman family update. You know it's coming. Might as well just count on no extra charge for that. Just kind of comes with the deal. But real quickly, let me tell you what has happened in those 25 years. For those of you who don't know and those who do, a quick update. Our oldest daughter, Emily, is 23 now, and she is in Ireland. She's gone to Northern Ireland, to Belfast, to study there with her husband. How crazy is that? Her last name is no longer Chapman, which is the only bad part that's kind of ticking me off. But she is Emily Richards, married to Tanner, and they're doing great, and we're going to get to see them, and a little after Christmas, go see them and spend a few days. So they're doing wonderful. Caleb, my son Caleb is 20 years old. He just had his birthday October 2nd. He is 20, and this is crazy, but he married his 4th grade sweetheart just a few months ago. So he is now a married man, and they are so happy. It's just kind of gross, really. But it's beautiful and wonderful. And Caleb is actually here. He's right over here playing guitar. Mr. Caleb Stevens from Chapman. Caleb is getting ready to head out with Robbie C. Band and do a little tour, opening for that tour, and very excited for him and the new music and all that he's writing. You can check him out and his music on the Space thing. It's all that newfangled stuff I don't keep up with very well, unfortunately. MySpace or something, yeah, websites and all that. So, also, Caleb's younger brother, Will Franklin, he is 18. He just graduated from high school, and I'm just incredibly proud of both of my sons and watching them be the incredible men of courage that they've been their whole life, but especially this last year and a half. And Will Franklin is also in the house, as we say. He's back here playing the drums. Y'all make some noise for Will Franklin. And these guys are pretty good up here, too. Okay. Let's see. No, I love you. I love you. I'll introduce them in a little while. But then, so you got Emily, Caleb, and Will, and then Shohana is 10 years old. Joey is doing great. She's in 4th grade. Stevie Joy is just had her birthday, and she is the day before our anniversary. She turned 7. So she is doing amazing. She's in 1st grade and loving life. And then Maria Sue. It was 5. She had her 5th birthday just about 8 days before she went to heaven and went to be with Jesus. And so that's our family. That's the Chapman family update right there. And real quick, I want to tell a secret about all the music I've written all these years, because some people ask me, because I just had finished some new music, and they're like, "You've been doing this for a long time. How do you keep writing songs?" And the truth is that by having 6 children in my house through the years, all I have to do is just wake up in the morning, have a pen and a pad of paper handy, and just listen. Because I'm going to hear great song ideas, and things are going to be happening and being said all the time that are going to give me great ideas. So it's really not, I'm kind of giving away the secret. I just, it's all the things that they have said and done. And one song, in fact, that I haven't written yet, but you can be watching for this, because it happened one morning. Maria Sue woke my wife up, and my wife told me about it. I wasn't there, but she said she woke up one morning, and she had Maria standing at the edge of our bed. And Maria was always the first one to wake up, and she was so loud when she woke up usually, or she'd come get you immediately. And she was looking at my wife, and she said, "Mama, I need a potty and I need a pancake." I think it's a great example of it's probably a country song. I'm going to write that song one of these days. And so I just have, it's just paying attention to my family, my kids. And one song that was written for my 2 little girls, and some of you know about this song. It was written one night when I was trying to get them in bed and give them a bath. And it was just not going well, and they were playing and having so much fun. And I was in a big hurry because I had to write a bunch of songs and get finished with some things before I had a big meeting the next day that I was supposed to show up with all these finished songs. So I needed them to hurry because I knew I had a long night ahead of me of work. But they just wanted to play. And in fact, they kept telling me they had to go to a ball. So whenever I would turn my head, trying to put them in the tub, get them naked and get them ready for the tub, then they would take off and go to their bedroom and put on their Snow White and their Cinderella costumes and come back and, prance around and say, "Daddy, look, we're going to the ball." And I started to talk through my teeth. Any of you parents ever do that? It's like, "No, you're going to go to bed." And I was just really, I needed them to hurry, and they just were not interested at all in that. So the more fun they had, the less fun I was having. And I was getting really impatient and irritated. And finally, I got them in their pajamas, and I got them in bed, and then they wanted me to tell them a story. So that night, the story was 2 little girls went to sleep. The end. I get in bed, go to sleep, and I have to give them a drink of water and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just mad and impatient. And finally, we pray, because we always pray before they go to bed. But my children become prayer warriors at bedtime, and they know that you're not going to interrupt the prayers, right? So they just start praying for the whole world. They're praying for orphans all over the world and all that. And so this particular night, I actually gave them some parameters. I said, all right, immediate family only tonight. Pray fast. So that was kind of the way our night went. And I finally, got them in their beds, and I said, I love you. I mean it. Good night. And I shut the door, and I'm stomping down the steps, because now I got this long night ahead, and this took a lot longer than I wanted it to, and now I got to go get spiritual and write songs about the love of God, and I'm not in a very good place, to do it. So I get to my studio, and I start to think about the many nights that I did that with my daughter Emily. And it's just like memories came washing back to the times when I used to tuck her in, and I called her Queen Tuck. And we would always tell these goofy little stories, and she'd laugh, and I'd make up stories, and I thought, you know what? It was literally, as cliche as it is, it was like the blink of an eye, and she is now grown and gone. At that time, she was in college, but it's like, I don't get to tuck her in anymore. I'll never have that opportunity, and bath time is definitely out of the question for everyone. So I'm thinking, I just missed an amazing gift. I just blew it. I had this opportunity to be with my little girls and enjoy them and just chill out and enjoy these few moments that we had and make them special. And instead, I rushed through them irritated and mad. And so I started to feel so bad, and I just wanted not to do that again. And yet I know me, and I know that 2 or 3 nights from now, I'll be doing the same thing, because I'll forget and I'll get in a hurry. So I did something that night that I do a lot of times when I don't want to forget something I think God is teaching me. I wrote a song. And in about an hour's time, I'd written a song called Cinderella, which became the #1 smash hit song in the Chapman household, because my little girls loved it, because it was about them, and it had the word Cinderella in it, which it could have been an awful song, but if I said Cinderella, it was cool. So, but they loved it. It was so, it was their favorite, and we listened to it over and over and over again. And they would want me to dance with them, we'd dance around. So you can understand why on May 21st, 2008, when one of my Cinderellas went to dance in heaven and wait for us there, I told my wife a few days after. In fact, we were talking about whether or not I would ever stand up and do this again, because I just didn't know at that point. And I told my wife that no matter what, I know one song I don't think I'll ever be able to sing. I just won't be able to make it through it. It'll be too hard. And that's the song Cinderella. Well, I was standing on stage July 11th for the first time. It was the first time I was singing my songs, and I was barely getting through it, but I knew that it was what I needed to do, and I knew that was what God wanted me to do, to stand up and just drive a stake in the ground over and over again and say, this is what I believe, this is what's true, even with all the confusion and the question and the grief and the pain and all of that. But I had not planned to sing Cinderella. And as I was getting kind of to the place in the concert where I usually would sing that song, something started to dawn on me. And I began to realize that if I mean anything that I've ever sung all of these years, because everything that I've written and sung, even if it's a love song to my wife, it's all anchored and based in the truth of God's Word, the eternal truth in the Bible. Because I figure my songs are going to be forgotten in a little while. But if I can somehow connect it to God's truth, it really may have an impact in the lives of other people that hear it. And so I've always done that, and I thought if anything I've ever said and sung is true, then what I know to be true, while there's a lot I don't know, but what I know to be true, and I know it tonight standing here before you, as sure as I'm standing here, I will dance again with my Maria Sue, with my Cinderella. In fact, my future with her, as one brother told me, a friend told me this right before his own son went to heaven. He said, Maria's a far bigger part of your future than she is of your past. And that is truth. That's not a fairy tale. That's not something we just kind of talk about heaven in by and by and some way off somewhere. That is the anchor of our hope. That is our hope. Paul says in the Bible, if our hope is only for this life, Meaning, if we just have hope to get a good, comfortable life with a nice paycheck and a pretty nice car and a nice house and mostly good kids and trouble-free living on this planet, he says, we're foolish. We're to be pitied. That's crazy because it's just not going to happen. It may be good for a while, but something will come and knock our legs out from under us, more than likely. But even if it doesn't, we're settling for so much less than what we were made for. Because our hope is anchored in the promise of a God who has said, there's a day coming. And right now it may seem like it's so far off, but there is a day coming in the blink of an eye when he says, I will wipe every tear from your eye.